This podcast is produced by OnPod, a video content studio near you.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Today we're here with Brandon Brown, aka DJ Immortal. If you've ever heard of 99 Punk Radio World FM, Punk World Radio FM?
Yeah.
Okay, that's his station. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for your time. I mean, you reached out to me, so I'm here. So thank you so much for your time.
Of course, yeah. For someone starting out in music or broadcasting, what's the very first step they should take to stand out?
See, with me, I always say the music industry is so oversaturated, not just on the artist aspect, but podcasts. I mean, radio shows, radio stations, because anybody can just start a radio station. We're going to learn about that soon. So I would say you got to do something different than whatever everyone else is doing. I mean, I have this little motto that I normally use is like a pack of wolves. When you see a pack of wolves, they kind of look the same because they're in a pack. But if you take yourself away from the pack and you're just there by yourself, you might notice the four wolves over there that look the same, but you also be like, why is that one wolf over there by himself? Mm-hmm. You know, why is he doing that? Why is he not with his pack? Make yourself stand out. Do something that nobody else is doing. It could be something so tiny that you might not even realize it, but that one tiny little thing can actually make you stand out from every other podcaster, radio host, and radio announcer.
Amazing. Yeah. And you've built your own platforms instead of waiting for opportunities. What can listeners learn from that mindset and how can they apply it to their own careers?
Sometimes you just have to go out there and get it done yourself. I mean, I grew up, when I was younger, a little about me, I grew up in foster homes and group homes. I never had anything handed to me. I was bullied, treated like, excuse my language, crap my whole life. So I always had that mindset there. You have to fight to survive. You have to do what you have to do to make it. So I never wait around for opportunities. I'm always the kind of guy where if you want something, you just got to go out and take it. So I've always had a dream of radio. I used to be in high school and listen to my little FM little transmitter I had in my pocket from the Dollarama or Dollar Bazaar I got. Yeah. And I didn't mind the songs that were playing, but sometimes you want to hear the songs are not always played. So I used to get a hall pass and then run down to the payphone. And yes, I am that old, a payphone. And I used to dial 96.7 Yes FM, their 1-800 number, and go request music and whatnot. So, I mean, that's just how it is. I always went out and did stuff like that. So growing up, I wanted to be on the radio. And getting out of the group home and growing up and graduating high school, I didn't think college would really be an avenue for me just because of the things I was told when I was a kid that, oh, you're never going to make it. You're never going to do this. So I knew to get a job in that field, you needed college. So I said to myself, you know what? Why don't I just do this myself? So one day I just got laid off from my job. I couldn't find another job for a little while, but at nighttime, you kind of can't hand out resumes or anything. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go, start a podcast. And then one person reached out and was like, you got a podcast. I got a new album. Let's do an interview. And I'm like, how do I do an interview? So I literally Googled how to do an interview. Like did not know what I was doing. I was in over my head. My first podcast got like 30 listens, and then it went from a podcast to a radio show, then to a radio show to a station. And yeah, then I'm sitting here with amazing people like you.
Amazing. Yeah. Sometimes rejection is redirection too. Like you never know when you actually have to take the steps to follow your own passion. Just do it. Right. And stand out while you're doing it.
Just grab the bull by the horns.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. What's one mistake you see newcomers make when trying to break into the entertainment industry?
I see there's a lot of mistakes you can make. I mean, kind of like what I said, copying other people. A lot of the mistakes too is thinking that it's easy. That's the one thing I can actually say on the top of my head. There's people that come in and go, oh, like this looks so easy, I can do it. And then you see how much editing, how much, promotion, what you have to do to make sure the guest is on point and arriving on time and reminders. And people think it's easy. I think that's the first mistake people make is that when you get into this business, you automatically say to yourself, wow, this is going to be so easy. And then when you do your first broadcast and you're just like, whoa, like, okay, this was not that easy. I would say that's definitely the first mistake is thinking that what we do is we just flick a switch and that's it. They don't really realize what really goes into just one simple broadcast.
For sure. And there's competition too, right? Like you're doing this and it might be a little bit easier if you didn't have all these people that you were up against all the time, but you have to make your way, do it well, and, keep growing the whole time.
Just to elaborate on what you said, when I first started out doing the hip hop, my station blew up so quickly. Like I had people like Coolio, Naughty by Nature, Baby Bash, Bubba Sparks. Like we could be here all day just me listing people. And I was so scared that I was like, wow, like there's so many other great people that are have so much better than me that I thought. I'm like, these guys are so much more better and experienced at what they do than me. I was scared of losing my spot in that industry. So I didn't stop working. There was nights I was up till 3-4 in the morning working on my station, doing promo, answering calls, emails, and I didn't sleep. So like my significant other, she was like, you need to sleep. Like you need to sleep. Like, or you're going to put yourself in the hospital. Like, and I'm like, no, I need to work. Like there was times I would just be like full on passed out on the desk because I worked so much. So that's another mistake I definitely think newcomers make. If you have that passion and it's hard work, but you continue going after it's hard work, is rest. That's another mistake because you will burn yourself out. Like this radio thing, if you love it that much, it's addictive. You will burn yourself out to the point you pass out wherever you sit.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like when you're talking to people too, if you're burnt out, you're not able to ask your questions. You're not able to actually elaborate on things, like I know from experience too. Well, very limited experience, mind you. But if I'm not with it, then the podcast just kind of, anyway.
You learn that very quickly, like very early on.
Yeah, get your sleep, drink your coffee. Okay, so you've interviewed thousands of artists and public figures. What's your advice for landing high profile guests or collaborators when you're still kind of small?
And my best advice is, and I would say, I know I just talked about the very beginning. I don't mean to go back to other questions, but it kind of all connects, is like being different, kind of like separating yourself from the pack. I've seen so many people reach out and just go, hey, my name is Jeff. I want to interview you. And it's kind of like, you kind of read the message and go, okay, well, thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it. But why do you want to interview me? What's your podcast? What the date and time? Who have you interviewed? Like, what are you about? Where are you from? Is this virtual, not virtual? So I think like with that aspect is you just have to like really separate yourself. So what I did, and this is actually me letting out one of my secrets of how I got so many people. So definitely listen up back home. I was that person. I was Jeff at one point. I was like, hey, I'd love to do an interview, but I didn't know what to say. So I had one person that said to me, sure, but what's this? What's this? So I would take a script, all the questions these people asked me at the beginning, like, okay, where's the interview? Like, is it virtual? Is it on the phone? I put that in the script. So now I actually have not a long message, but it's more of like, my name is blah, blah, blah. I'm looking to book you for 99.9. Here's the date. Here's the time. It is a virtual interview on our radio station. And then I put a few people that we have interviewed, and I named some of the big names. Then I provide links to my radio station and then my contact number and then what the interview is going to be about. That way you kind of have a lot of these celebrities are so busy. They don't have time to ask questions. They have time for a yes, no, or a, other things that people could tell you to get you to go away. I've had that once or twice, but you just got to deal with the rejection and move on. But I would say compile that script of all the achievements you did. If you won a couple awards, add that in there, and then just make them want to say yes. Because a lot of these people are so busy, they can say yes or they can say no, or they ignore you. But I will say, after I started making the script, I definitely got a lot of yeses. And some of them, and last thing when it comes to booking people, even if you say, I only interviewed one big person, say if you want to interview, I don't know, Coolio, right? God bless his soul. I interviewed him as well, but I said to myself, I'm never going to interview Coolio. Like Gangsta's Paradise? No, never going to interview this guy. I reached out to him. Boom. He called the number. He read the message, called my number, and I was talking to him for 20 minutes. After that 20-minute call, he was booked and locked in for an interview. So never say to yourself you can not do it, because you never know what opportunity can arise. You miss 100% of the chances you do not take.
Yeah, take the chances and build, your it's almost like a resume for a job. You have to make sure that you have the right qualifications, and I'm sure research on the person is important too, so that they can know whether you care as much as you do. Nice. So how important is networking compared to talent, and how do you actually build relationships that last?
I would say networking is definitely key. I mean, talent is great. I mean, you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't know how to network, you're not really going to be able to show your talent properly. I mean, for instance, you can network, you could have like 1,000 numbers in your phone. You could have all these famous people, but like if you don't know how to communicate with these people, you don't know how to compile the questions or do the research, it's not really going to mean anything, because it takes in this industry, it takes really one bad interview and one really bad question to kind of hurt your credibility. Like, I mean, I've always focused on my interviews being positive. So like, especially with the hip hop aspect of my career, a lot of people have done a lot of bad things. They made mistakes in their life. But if you bring up those mistakes, people are going to be like, I don't want to do an interview with this guy. Like, he asked my friend this, why do I want to do it? Right. So I take if they had hardships or anything bad happen in their life, anything that's controversial, I left that at the door. I focus solely on your career and what you're doing in your career, like your past accomplishments or your current accomplishments. So like albums, songs. So that's how I kind of did my stuff. And I still do it even with the punk stuff. Same interview format. I don't believe in controversy. I mean, I know controversy, it sells, as they say, but I don't want to be that guy. That's what made me separate myself. I would much rather give them a great interview and kind of have them go on memory lane throughout their career and be like, wow, I did that. I'd rather inspire them to keep creating music rather than upset them and be like, I don't want to do interviews anymore. Like, I don't want to do another one like that. So like I said, it's all about, you can have talent, but you got to also learn how to network as well and do your research. So it's a mixture of both, but I can definitely say networking overcomes the talent any day.
For sure. And it really teaches you how to speak to people and communicate too. I'm sure body language is a huge thing. If you're asking a question and you don't know how they're going to respond to the next question, you can kind of get a grip on, wherever, feel out the vibe, as you will. Nice. So
you always got to read the room.
Yeah, reading the room is a huge thing for sure. How do you prepare for interviews so you earn respect and build credibility with big names? I'm sure we've covered a little bit of that just now, but is there anything else that you would...
Honestly, I'm preparing. Obviously, as I spoke about, to prepare, you reach out the way I normally do. But preparing is also promotion. So many people I noticed, they not so many. There's a lot of people I do see, but there's some people, the first mistake they kind of make is they don't really promote the interview. They make the flyer and then they just go, okay, well, I'll talk to you on, September 17th, And then people kind of like, why aren't you posting the flyer like you made it? So me, I post it the moment I do it. I post it the night of. It's just all about, that's preparing. Promotion is definitely key because that's how you get your listeners. So you got to definitely, preparation is promoting, know how to network, make sure you remind the person they have an interview, because these guys get so busy. And I mean, you can't just expect them to show up. If you book them a month ahead, I would not expect anybody to show up for the interview if it's like even this interview, we did this and you reached out a couple days before, like, hey, making sure we're all good. There's people that reach out for an interview, book an interview, and then a month later, they're like, oh, this guy didn't show up. Well, I'm upset. Why didn't he show up? It's like, because he's busy. Like, he didn't hear nothing, no promo, no nothing. I understand why he didn't show up, because it's like, well, I guess I'm going to go spend time with my wife now,
Yeah, no, exactly. I feel like that's definitely something that we could do a little bit more too. I do try to reach out my best, but this isn't about me. So that's a great point. Great tip. You're a DJ, a station owner, interviewer, actor. You've acted in a few things, right?
I did background acting. I will admit, I learned very quickly. It wasn't really for me. I like getting stuff done. And I mean, I loved being on set. That part was such a cool experience. But I will admit, when I was younger, I had ADHD. I don't really have it as much now. But when you're sitting in an empty room with nothing to do and you're not allowed to play on your phone because, if a celebrity walks by, they don't want phones around, and you got to sit there like this. For the people just listening at home, it's just completely still for 13 hours. I couldn't do it. I did 2 movies. I love the experience on set, but the background holding was a pain in the butt.
Yeah, fair enough. Background is, you want to be out and communicating with the rest, right? So with that being said, all those skills that you have, what core skills do you believe transfer across all these roles and make someone successful in entertainment?
I would say professionalism is definitely the main one.
Okay.
Because I mean, you could be professional and land all these opportunities, and also hard work. Because I will say, all these opportunities I got, I'm grateful for every single one. I mean, I look back at some of my stuff and I go, wait, I did do that. And then I kind of I smile, but it's like, it's just, I work so hard for everything I've got. So I would say hard work, perseverance. I know we're going to get into this probably in the interview as well, but you will get rejected so much in this business. You will get told no so much. And, you know, you can choose to be upset, tuck your tail between your legs and walk away, or you can be persistent. Like, even when I was younger, I got told you never, ever be anything. You know, you're just going to be that group home kid. And I'm sitting here in this amazing podcast studio talking to you about everything I've done in my career and trying to teach other people that are new. You know, I never thought I'd be here. I just did a podcast because I lost my job. It's like I got laid off from a lumberyard, and then here I am, right? So I would say don't listen to the rejection. If you think it's right, keep doing it and just have that professionalism along the way. You will get told no. You will get swore at. Like, I've been told off on my own interviews before on my station, you know, because I was really, really green at what I did and I got someone's name wrong and they went 0 to 60. Wow. You just got to learn to bite your tongue and be like, okay.
Yeah.
Everything will be better.
Keeping that at the back of the mind. So we don't have to do that again.
Pretty much just to summarize it, just be professional, learn to take the rejection and then just do what you think is right. I mean, and all those opportunities will come. Just be humble. Be humble and thankful.
And we're thankful for you being here with us today. We really
Same here.
Nice. So what daily habits or routine help you keep momentum in such a competitive industry?
Like we talked about earlier, not staying up till 3, 4, 5 in the morning working. You got to know when to have that off switch. I've learned throughout my career that you're not going to lose your spot. People will notice your hard work, so you don't have to be like on call, 23 hours a day and sleep 1 hour. So I would say definitely rest. That will keep you on your toes, and then just keep doing what you're doing. If you notice what you're doing is working and you're still landing all these interviews, don't fix what's not broken. Mm-hmm. I mean, with me, I transferred so many skills from 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM, my hip hop station, to Punk World Radio. I transferred so many skills that I learned to my new station because I realized what's not broke, don't fix. If it worked there, it's going to work here. Mm-hmm. And that's what made my second station even more successful.
Nice. I'm sure it comes down to analyzing those habits as well, right? If it's working, great, continue. If it's not, redirect. And I'm
after being in the industry for so long, you'll definitely learn very quickly what doesn't work. Right. You know, because it's all about a listener reaction, right? I mean, yeah, you're the host, but you got to put on the show. Essentially, you're putting on a show for your listeners. Thanks. Right? So essentially, you'll learn very quickly what's not working because people won't engage.
Yeah, for sure.
So I've learned that quickly to be okay, listeners don't want this. I used to start every interview with, when I started Punk World Radio, because when I did Outlaw Radio, I used to interview just one person. They weren't really bands. They were just artists. They're rappers. Mm-hmm. So I used to always start off with, the different type of way. But when I started off Punk World Radio, I used to be okay, you guys this is your band name, introduce yourselves. I actually had someone in the comments on YouTube, actually, before we even went live, literally mimic my actual interview at the beginning. Be like, okay, we're here with blah, blah, blah. DJ Immortal, tell us your names. And at first I got upset. I was like, really? You're going to do me like that before I go live? But then I got that, me being upset kind of was a snap of the finger. I was like, wait a minute. That's annoying to him. Mm-hmm. So I listened to my listener. I was like, okay, let's prove you, in a nice way, let's prove you wrong and let's switch it up. So I literally threw that right out the book and never used it since. And my interviews are now catching on. I was very green because I didn't know. I never interviewed 5 guys on one screen before. How do I do this, right? So again, just took the ball and rolled with it. But then when I had the person mimic my beginning, that's literally how I had all my paper. I had that. I was like, okay. I was like, you know what? Ooh. But then I was like, okay, I took a deep breath. I'm like, I get that though. I understand. If he watches every interview, it's probably annoying for him to hear the same at the beginning. The whole interview was different. It's just that first question was always kind of the same. So I was like, okay, let's just, his name's not Bob, but for the sake of it, I'll call him Bob. All right, Bob, Yeah. We'll take that away. And I listened, and you know what? It actually made my interviews a heck of a lot better.
Yeah.
So thanks, Bob.
Yeah, and in a way, like he was one of your loyal listeners if he was able to pick that up. And, it really teaches you how to take feedback for sure, because sometimes we do things we don't even realize we're doing them.
Yeah.
I know I'm guilty of that. But anyway, that's great. How can someone balance passion with professionalism so they can stay creative but also be reliable in business?
I always say you got to learn to flick a switch, because like a lot of the stuff I'm into, like I grew up loving punk rock. I grew up loving Blink-182, Sum 41, Simple Plan, like all these pop punk bands. But you got to know, when you book them for an interview, they're not there to talk to the fan. They're there to talk to the interviewer. So there's many people that I've interviewed, like told you a little bit about Steve-O of Sum 41. I've interviewed Cone of Sum 41. I'm huge fans. So I always say, like, when you're waiting for them to come onto the interview, you can have your fan moment, get that out, 20 minutes before the interview, turn on the album, crank it up, and just be like, yeah, I'm interviewing Steve-O, and then the moment that light turns green or red or whatever button you use, that fan needs to go out the window. It's almost like when people say, you get a new job and they say, look, your issues, I don't care about your issues. They stay at the door. You come here to do your job. That's essentially what it is. You got to learn to do that yourself. Mm-hmm. So there's many interviews I've done where I'm screaming on the inside. Like I have a fangirl going, ah, but on the outside, I'm just like, so tell us a little bit more about the album the demo you made in 1996. Meanwhile, on the inside, I'm like, I remember getting that album, but you can't say it, right? So it's just, you got to learn to separate the fan, like the passion, the fan, from the interview and just from, the business interaction. That's the biggest thing, is you got to learn to separate that.
Nice, yeah.
Because some people don't. You can always let your fan out a little bit, because I always say at the end, when I've interviewed these people that I grew up loving, at the very end of the interview, I literally say, I'm like, I'm sure I can speak on behalf of the fans. Like, thank you so much for the years of music you did, because I can tell you it definitely helped me through a lot of difficult times in my life. And I'm sure it helped millions of other people worldwide. So on behalf of me and the rest of those fans, thank you so much for making that music. That's like, and when I say that on my interview, that's me. That's literally Brandon talking. So I don't say it for every single interview. Like if you hear me say that at the end of my interview, that's some real stuff where I'm just like, here's my fan, but it's also a professional side of me being the fan to really thank you. I mean, I interviewed the Click 5 the other night. I know they're like a power pop band, but like when I was younger, that was my first concert.
Oh my God.
Like when they released the song Just the Girl, I was like, oh, this song. I still listen to it today.
Yeah.
So I said the same thing, like, thank you so much for making music that I got to enjoy when I was younger. And now that you guys are back together, thank you for coming on my station and doing this interview. Like you could hear it in my voice where I was like, cracking a little bit, but like it's the emotion. And they, that's how I always say you can thank them for what they've done for their music for you. Because at the end of the day, I'm sure everybody gets in this business because they love some aspect of it. You just don't pick up a microphone and go through all of it, because most radio hosts are kind of broke, unless you're Howard Stern, you're not making a lot of money. Yeah. So you obviously have to have a passion for some aspect of the business that you're doing. So I definitely say you can show it, but just don't show it too much, because then they're going to be like, okay, this guy's weird.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, my internet froze. I'll be right back.
Yeah, at the end of the day, there's still a person, right?
I've never had that yet, but my career ain't over yet. So God willing, no one acts like their internet froze.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. Like it was probably a period of time that you had to kind of hone that dissociation, right?
Oh yeah, it was. There was times where even when I did the hip hop stuff, like there's people like I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this. Like very early on, I used to be an emotional person when I first got in. It's like my stations blew up so quickly right before my eyes that I couldn't imagine. Like it was like waking up living a dream. There was times that some people I interviewed, I cried before I even went live. Yeah. Like I actually was like, I can't believe I'm interviewing this person. Like I would break down, and I never even said this publicly before. I'd break down and cry, and then I would just be like, it's 8:29. All right. Yeah. And then I would literally go live, and then people wouldn't even know. Like my significant other would be like, you just were crying 2 minutes ago. Like, how are you? Because it's like, that's business. Yeah. Like my fan came out. He had his little like tear jerker. He had his little, oh my God, I'm doing this moment. That was Brandon Brown. And the clock strikes 8:30 and I flick that on air switch. That's DJ Immortal. He don't cry. He gets down to business.
Yeah. He finds out what he wants to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Nice. Okay. So the entertainment industry can be tough with rejection, burnout, or money struggles. What's a lesson you've learned about resilience that listeners can apply?
Oh, resilience. I kind of mentioned them throughout the interview already, but I will actually say, like, just to touch base on that again, you have to just stay persistent. I mean, you're going to get told no again. And I want to say this again, actually, because people forget about this. People sometimes can't take rejection, but you will get told no. You will get told, oh man, your station, it sucks. You know, your station this, but that's the thing. That's a view of one person. Someone could absolutely despise every single aspect of you, but then the next person could be like, yo, that's my boy. Like that's my station. Right. So people will drag you through the mud. People will talk down about you. People will rip your business apart. And the one thing I've learned, and this might come off as a little cocky, but this is the one thing I've learned throughout the years. People will do that, and the majority of the time, people just don't like people. I will tell you that. Some people just do. Mm-hmm. But there's 9 times out of 10, the people that drag you through the mud is because they're seeing what you're doing, and they know they can't do it themselves. So they want to tear you down, drag you through the mud, hoping you'd break and stop doing what you're doing because they're miserable with their own lives. It's like bully. It's like being in high school. People bullied you because they were jealous of you, or they had their own issues going on at home or something. It's kind of like how it is. So with dealing with the criticism and all that stuff, social media is a terrible place. It's a terrible place to be. It's great. I mean, it landed me so many opportunities, but it's rough. Mm-hmm. It's like never ending high school sometimes. Yeah, you just got to know where to go on the internet and kind of just do your own thing. But I would say just don't listen to what anyone says. If you think if you're doing what you love to do, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what people think. Because the moment I stopped caring what people thought is the moment I started winning.
Mm-hmm. I will add on that too. I feel like if you are letting all that stuff bother you and it is kind of deterring you from doing these things, maybe you're not as passionate about it as you thought you were.
Yeah.
Because, over time, you really have to realize some things are worth it and some things aren't. If you aren't able to go through with it, like knowing that this is the best course of action for you and you're doing this because you're so interested in all these people that you get the privilege of interviewing, or the music that you're pursuing or whatnot, it shouldn't matter how many people are watching or who's looking or who's hating on you, because you got that passion, right?
Yeah, exactly. People are always gonna be like that. Mm-hmm. And it's like if they put in the same amount of work that you did, maybe they'd be up there beside you. Maybe not on your actual station because they obviously, tore you down, but they would have their own avenue of what they wanted to do. But instead, they'd rather sit there and play keyboard warrior. It's like, but that's the thing. People want to tear you down in life, but if you just keep going, ignore them as best you possibly can, then that's the best way to be. Just do your own thing and prove the haters wrong.
Yeah, you're the main character in your own world.
Yeah.
How do you think the role of radio and DJing is evolving, and what should new creators be paying attention to?
So, touch base on the DJ aspect first. I will say DJing and radio is obviously very different. Yeah. But with DJing, I would say the evolving is, I know this happened years ago, but they used to do with vinyls. Now there's all, now it's all digital. Like, I mean, I will admit, I have a vinyl machine. I have a vinyl. But I don't have a lot of vinyls because they cost a lot of money now, I will admit. So scratching vinyls, to me, it's like, I love that aspect. As a DJ, I love it. But when you have vinyls and you're paying $60 to $100 a pop for a vinyl and you're scratching them, I don't have the budget for that. So I have that. If I want to do, I have the creative old records and all that stuff, but I also have the digital machine. The digital is like they call them button pushers, but I will admit it saves your vinyls. So it definitely is, a lot more easier on the wallet. And also even just that, I mean, DJs don't get paid a lot of money. I used to do a little bit of club DJing. I used to DJ at one of the local bars in Brockville back in the day. And I used to get paid like $40 for a night. So, and that doesn't count like, you're going to be up there, you want to drink. So I learned very quickly, you get into the music, you're going to want a couple drinks. I was young and pretty naive that they didn't tell me that the drinks would come out of the pay. So you got to think a bar, $40, 2 drinks, your money's gone. So I actually owed a tab. I'm like, I just DJ'd for 8 hours. How do I owe you a tab?
Yeah, you got right? $18. Yeah.
So I'm just like, scavengers, pulling out my wallet. I'm like, you guys are scavengers. But so I would say that is definitely changing. Like that part isn't changing. Sorry. Like your DJs are not making any money. That I don't think that's going to change for a long time. unless you're DJ Pauly D of, like Jersey Shore or something.
Yeah, I mean, I love Pauly D, but or Paris Hilton.
Yeah, she's even a DJ now, which is crazy. I never thought I'd say that Paris Hilton's a DJ, but hey, get your money, girl. That's all I gotta say. Get that money.
She's got an empire to build. Yeah.
But I would say it's more people are more turning now to social media to DJ. I mean, there's this thing called Mixer. Mm-hmm. It's like a great app, actually. You can go on there and DJ. You can have cameras all over. It's kind of like Twitch for DJs. People earn revenue on that. So I would say that's what's kind of changing. People are going from clubs to now kind of DJing out of their house or living room or bedroom or basement online, and they're actually getting viewership, which I would say that's awesome. But that's something I don't really want to get into because I'd rather just keep doing my radio. That's my current passion. But as for radio, that's a whole other story. I will say this. A lot of people would immediately think, with Boom Radio, shout out to my good friend Dylan Black. He unfortunately recently lost his job at Boom. They liquidated all the announcers at Boom 99. And I will admit, I couldn't believe it. Someone like Dylan Black, such an amazing talent on the radio. I still can't believe that he's no longer there. That's the afternoon drive. That's when you're coming home from work. He's in your stereo. And I'm not just plugging him like this because I'm friends with him. I'm actually plugging him because he's great. And you need those radio announcers on the air. So people see news reports like that and they think, oh, radio's dying. Like Element 95, an Aboriginal station, just shut down August 31st, less than a week ago. People think radio's dying. I don't think radio's dying. I think it's evolving. There's actually this new, it's called My Broadcasting Corporation. There's this new guy named John Pohl. Not really new, but I shouldn't say new guy. He's been around for years, but he's buying up every station. So when Bell puts a station up for sale, he buys it. And he's turning all radio local. So when I see people like him striving to do what he does, I immediately go, no. Radio's not dying. It's just currently in that state of evolving. Mm-hmm. It's like, how'd I put it? Radio, caterpillar, People think, caterpillar is going to a cocoon. He's dead. No, he's evolving. Mm-hmm. That butterfly's coming and radio is going to surge again. That's my thing. So radio is definitely in that period of just surge. It's about to surge. I will say that. I know there's Sirius XM and also internet radio, another great avenue, because that's how I got on the air. That's how I'm talking to you today. Is internet radio is another big thing. I think anybody can build an internet radio station. You can go home and be like, man, I kind of like punk world radio. I want to do, I don't know, punk rock, rebel punk rock radio or something. I don't know, off the top of my head. You can honestly set that up with $50 out of your pocket today.
Yeah.
You can just sign up for a site and get a playlist and just set it up and just pay for the licensing fees and everything. And you got a legal radio station right on your laptop.
Crazy. Well, yeah, you never know.
So it's evolving. It's making it very easy for people to start up radio. Mm-hmm. It's just, you can start up a station, but you got to know what to do with it.
Yeah, you got to have the talent there to back it up and the passion too and the hard work ethic.
Yeah.
Takes a whole concoction is required. Nice. So if you could give your younger self one piece of advice about building a career in entertainment, what would it be?
See, the one thing was I wish I could go back to when I was younger. Like I said at the very beginning on in the interview, grew up in a really bad environment. So I didn't really have those father figures around, a revolving door of people, and everyone said you ain't going to be nothing. I wish I could go back and just look at and sit down with my younger self, even though I know what my younger self would say. I'm not listening to you, old man. I see that hairline. I'd be like, oh, dude, you're lucky I want to live. But all jokes aside, I would actually look at my younger self and I'd be like, do you need to stop listening to what they're saying? And show them a couple pictures. This is what you're going to do, and this is who you're going to become. I wish very early on I would have been able to take less criticism to heart. And then I think I probably would have started this a heck of a lot sooner. Because right now I'm 31 years old. I'm in college. And there's nothing wrong with that. But, when you're sitting there and in class, because I'm in radio broadcasting, so I learned all this stuff, then decided to go to college for the degree. So I learned mostly everything. There's some things that I learned that I taught myself that I had to at least tweak to get to industry standard. But I was very surprised that majority of the stuff I taught myself, I was correct.
Nice.
There was quite a few things I was wrong about. I used to go on the air and talk to the listeners. You don't talk to everyone. I used to be like, good morning, everyone. How are you doing? This is, you don't do that. I learned that once I hit college. I was like, oh, you don't do that? So now if you listen to my broadcast after I started college, I'm like, I broadcast on the college station, CKDJ. So when I first joined CKDJ, I was like, CKDJ, how are you doing, everyone? But now I go, CKDJ 106.9. Why don't you come out tonight? So you have to talk to the one person. So I just totally getting off topic. My apologies. But I would say just don't listen to those people because, I really wish I would have started college at not 31 so much sooner because I'm the old guy in the room. Because my professor, the funny thing is yesterday, I got to say this because it's funny. This is how I call myself the old guy. I was in class and we're talking to one of my new professor because I started the new term. Her name's Professor Thompson. She said, anyone know what this station morphed into? It was an AM station. And I will admit, I'm not that old, so I don't remember exactly what the name of the station was, but it was an AM station. But it clicked because I knew the story. I'm like, oh, that's 106.9 The Bear. And then she's like, I've been teaching this class for 5 years straight. And not one person knew that. She's like, okay, cool. But then as she walked away, she's like, but everyone else here, if you don't know 106.9 The Bear, or its history, just ask your father or grandparents. And I'm literally like, like, oh no. Like, I'm just like, really? I'm like, am I that old? But I will admit, I listen to The Bear all the time. So it was just, so that's what I mean. That it's little things like that where I kind of sit back and shake my head, be like, I am the old guy in the room. But I will say this old guy can outwork a lot of them. So because I have the passion for it. Passion will definitely make you feel young. But just, I wish I could just go back and just tell myself, don't listen to anything. You're going to go to college. Don't wait till you're 29. Like, go to college and do what you need to do and get that done. Because I think if I would have had the background I have now with the college degree, no doubt in my mind, I'd probably be on the air right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny how, those people, when they break you down, it's really motivational to an extent. I'm thinking now because I'm also in school, like I'm a little bit older. I've been to school 3 times and, don't listen to anybody else. Listen to your own intuition, I think is what I was thinking about. But yeah, I guess last question for everybody or you, that one listener. Have you had any one person that did help change your life trajectory for the better?
Ooh, see, that's that one. That one person, I got to take a moment to think about that. I'm sorry for the dead air, but that one person.
Any teachers or mostly you, I guess, eh? You were the one behind yourself the whole time.
I would say so, but I had people obviously believing in me too, right? It's so hard. Just trying to really think. I'm trying to go through people in my head right now. This is the one thing I knew there was a question in this list that you sent me was going to stump me. And I did not think it was going to be this one. I got so far, but there's so many people. Can I name more than one?
Sure.
Okay. So the first one is my friend Trey Boogie. He's currently fighting cancer right now, and he lives in San Diego. I met him just through the broadcasting industry. I was dead broke, working a janitorial job, and then so during the day, hand in toilets, and then the nighttime on the air on my station. I was just scraping by, paying for all like the fees and licenses, and we got connected. He hit me up one day on Instagram, and he was like, "Man, we don't know each other, but I like genuinely love what you're doing. Can I have some tips on just I want to be a podcaster. I don't know how to do this." And I was like, "Here's my number, call me." So we talked for like 2 hours and just talked about life and everything. And he's like, you're the first person to actually give me advice. He's like, I reached out to a few people that I listened to, and he's like, you'd be surprised. I actually got profanity thrown at me and said, boom, boom, and he told me what they said, and I'm not even going to say it. I was like, wow, like how can you be in this industry? This industry is helping people grow. That's the whole point of being in radio. Like, I know radio is I learned very quickly the music industry is very cutthroat. But I don't like being like that. If you're a really good person and you genuinely mean well, I have no problems taking you under my wing. Worst case scenario, if I don't see the views you're doing, maybe I might just not message back at all. But I wouldn't swear at you on a public forum, you know? Yeah. So I gave him my advice, and I will say now he is currently he's in San Diego fighting cancer. And he is actually one of the, and I'm going to say this, one of the biggest podcaster in San Diego. He actually just got his own spot, kind of like this. He called it the headquarters.
Okay.
Trey, so it's like, let's chop it up with Trey Boogie. He very first gave me a sponsorship. He sponsored my station out of his own pocket. You know, I think he gave me I think it was like $1,000 a month.
Oh my goodness.
Just sponsored me out of nowhere. Like, I didn't even ask for the sponsorship. He's like, how do I go about sponsoring you? I'm like, I don't know, like $50 a month. And he laughed. He's like, $50? He goes, what is that going to do? You know? I'm like, well, I don't ask for money. Like, I've done it all myself. Mm-hmm. He's like, how about $1,000 a month? And I'm like, USD? And he goes, well, yeah. So it was like essentially the USD turned into Canadian. It was like 1,300 or something like that, or more. And I ended up I bought my very first big soundboard because of him. I ended up even hiring a contractor because I didn't know how to do it. I wanted the soundboard embedded in my desk. So I used that money to hire a contractor to come in and put it in my desk. So I really don't think I would be here because he really helped make my sound quality better. He really showed me that this is what I'm doing. People want to invest in me. So that's the first biggest one. And I would honestly just say my friends back home. I mean, I had very few friends growing up, but there was very few people that really supported me. Like my friend Bruce, he recently passed away. He was one of the guys that I knew since I was a kid. And he would always be that one person in my life to always be like, you know what, man, don't worry about them. They're arseholes, you know? So I would say Bruce, Trey, didn't really have much family, but I would say literally myself as well. I did as much as I can, but I would say shout out to Trey Boogie. He's probably going to watch this. So shout out to you, and then rest in peace to my friend Bruce.
For sure. Yeah. Sometimes all it takes is one person to kind of get the ball rolling and reward all the hard work that you've been doing for years.
I mean, I still got that soundboard today. I mean, I have another one that I use now, but I still have I saw that analog, like, cause I went really old school with Punk World Radio. Like I had the analog and the transmitter and all this stuff, and I still have it. I still have the desk. I cannot get rid of the desk.
I don't
I can't. Like I've had people be like, yo, dude, like I'll buy that off you for like $1,000. I'll give you back one payment that you got from him. I'm like, nah, man, I can't. Like, dude, it's in the corner of your studio. Like, I'm like, I can't, dude.
It's my personal antique exclusive.
Like it is, you know? Yeah. And it's so ghetto. I mean, it's like a table like this. I mean, I think this table is actually nicer than what I cut through. It's like this thin, and like it's just maybe like this big and there's a little square in it. But it fit perfectly. I mean, the cord's all wrapped up underneath, and it's just so old, but I can't get rid of it because it's a part of me and a part of my history in this industry. And if it wasn't for Trey, I wouldn't have had that. I would have still had, like, you know, I don't want to like admitting it, but like a little Temu. I had a Temu soundboard when I first started, but that's the whole proof that you have to start somewhere. Mm-hmm. I mean, now if I was still using the Temu soundboard, I wouldn't be mentioning it. Not whatsoever. But when I very first started back in early 2018, I was using that. Mm-hmm. But then I upgraded to like about a $950, you know, soundboard that he actually helped me get. So, I mean, I wouldn't be where I am without Trey Boogie. He thanks me all the time, but I got to sit here and really thank him because I wouldn't be here today.
Well, yeah, I mean, we really appreciate you coming by and giving us so much valuable information. So thanks so much for coming on our podcast.
Thank you so much for actually reaching out. It's been an honor.